basically Thibs in the rotations. Basically, without us having D Rose, we really don't have a leader on this team anymore.
Yeah, that's right.
You feel me? And then just overall, our overall style of like how we lack in the discipline of like, you know, keeping our heads in the game all the way for 48 minutes. Like this collapse that we be having is annoying. It's definitely annoying.
It's a problem. We saw it yesterday. You look at the first quarter, and then obviously it's a very physical game. No one knows what a foul is yesterday. It's it's not great, but then all of a sudden everyone starts to hang their head, and it's like, what are you doing? Why are you letting it get to you? Especially this is what makes me mad. I'm a Randall fan, but you see it on his face. It's like, don't get mad, man. You're gonna get out of the game. And as soon as you see it, man, you see it on his face. They get close-ups on him. He's mad. He's angry. He gets that look on his face. It's like a kid, yeah. It's like, I'm not interested no more.
Definitely, man. And I agree with you to the fullest, because it's like, as being the star, let me put the quotes up. As being the star guy, that energy and the way he actually, his demeanor itself is just something that is not acceptable. It's not. And I've been saying it for the longest. You know, we've been talking on past, present, future for the longest, y'all. Like Randall at best right now is showing that he is like a number 2 option at best. Mm-hmm. Not only
I say 3.
See, even worse, a third option, right?
I say a third option.
Personally. Right? We're going to get into that. We're going to get into that. But not only that, it's like, you really sit here and be like, bro, we not only gave you so much money for a contract, you gave us money back guaranteed. But bro, you're not even in the like all-star voting. Bro, we have Derrick Rose in the all-star voting. You're not even the guy. So it's like, you know what? Y'all touch base on it. Why is he a third option? Because just talking about him alone is getting me upset. Like,
honestly, it's kind of like a what happened moment. Like we gotta be real. Like we saw what we saw when he had that all-star year. Like it's not like we were dreaming. He completely showed out. You know what I mean? Like, so at the time, it definitely wasn't a bad move. So it's almost like yo, bro, what happened? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, the best way I could put it is, you know, I guess maybe he just wasn't never that player.
I just say the curse of the MIP award, man. Every player you know that ends up winning that most improved player award, the next year they play horrible. Like it's happened year after year and one more time after year.
But not to mention though, they still put up decent numbers, but obviously we know numbers don't tell the story. They get close to like Siakam, I think, did similar. Yeah, his numbers were similar. They were there, but the impact of those numbers, what are they? They're not the same
at all. But how do you really? My question to everybody is, right, and whoever wants to take the floor first can take it. How do we fix this problem? Yes, we want to go to trade route, but before we start trading pieces, right? How do we fix it within first before we even get to a trade?
I say cut down his playmaking, personally.
Yeah.
Like let him. I say cut. I think the problem with him is we put too much on him. Yeah, he's the guy. I get it, but maybe cut down his playmaking, cut down his 3-point shooting. Because as I said before, he seems to be dominant in the mid-range. Why not predominantly make that his game? I'm not saying not shoot 3-pointers, like cut that out of his game totally, but like I'd much rather you ISO in the mid-range than you take those top of the key threes, because you seem to be more effective at that. Definitely. And have him post on the low, because he seems to always
he's strong. Yeah. He's a strong dude.
He seems to cook people when he posts up and off the offensive rebounds. So I think he should be more of a mid-range interior player, personally.
Like a true power forward should be.
Yeah, like a traditional old school power forward. Exactly.
Yeah, I agree, man. I've been watching this game for a long time, as you guys probably have, so I'm not a fan of the volume threes at all. So when they come in this season and said we're shooting volume threes as a team, I knew that was going to be a bad look. I knew that Randall was going to take that a little bit too far. And I don't mind it, man. Look what he did do you remember the game last season against Detroit? He come out and he had like 7 or 8 threes. And I think he was like nearly 100%, right? But that's on a Detroit team, that's not coming out to defend you at the perimeter. No one knew what we were doing last year. That was, I think, a bit of our success. But the problem with him is, you're right. You need to take the ball out of his hands. It's still basketball. Yeah, the smallest guy on the court should still be handling the ball, who's got the tightest handles. It's as simple as that. The guy who knows where his players are, where they should be. Randall's coming up, man. And Wally reiterated something I was saying yesterday. This is on MSG broadcast. And he goes, and I've been saying it for weeks, 2 dribbles. After 2 dribbles, the double team comes. He has to make a decision within those 2 dribbles when he catches that ball inside the 3-point line. So even if he's not bringing it up, there's still an issue of him handling that ball inside that perimeter for too long. So it's 2 dribbles, and he's either got to go up into a shot, or he's got to pass it off, or he's got to make that cut for either to run a play on the fly or go to that basket. It's as simple as that, man. And
that's his main problem, though. He can't think of all that. His decision making is so trash. It's so garbage. Like sometimes I'd be wondering, like, yo, bro, does he even see? Like there'll be times Barrett be on the other side of the court, wide open, easy one pass like this, easy like this.
Yeah. Like his hands up, like
he just doesn't throw it. He'll dead ass just keep it and either turn it over, get stripped, or he can't be that guy to make all those decisions.
Yeah, I know, but can't you see this in film? Like, this is the issue. This is what I was saying. I've been saying to a couple of people too. Is there's no accountability. This is going to break down the locker room eventually, because Tibbs is just like, "Oh, do what you want to do, man. Go out there and do whatever you want to do." If Wally's talking about this, man, as an ex-basketball player, Serbiak's talking about it, then they're seeing it in film, man. If I'm seeing it, man, I'm not no professional basketball player, and I'm seeing it, and I'm calling it, saying two dribbles max once you catch that ball inside the 3-point arc. Otherwise, that double team's coming, and he's standing there pounding the hardwood with the ball. Come on, man. These guys know better. They know better.
Yeah, man.
I say the same thing, but then it boils down to this, right? And it goes into a prime question that we all probably been thinking about. What exactly is Tom doing that's wrong? Like, is it the fact that he's relying on these stars too much? Well, supposedly stars, because they obviously not that yet. But is he relying on just Randall and RJ maybe a little bit too much? Or is it the fact that he's somewhat scared to say something to Randall, because it's like, bro, you held every player so far accountable on his team.
You hear what he says
for Randall.
Yeah, you hear what he says to guys, man. He yells at RJ when he gets something wrong. Where's that same thing, bro? Say the same shit to Randall. Say it.
And it's sad.
That's a fact.
It's sad because he's not at all. And it's to a point where, bro, we legitimately watched how they try to use Kemba as a scapegoat.
Yeah.
Then that didn't work. It backfired because we kept losing. Then not one time did he ever bench Evan. Not one time did he ever attempt to bench Randall.
I think that's coming eventually.
Forget that. I feel like the way Randall's playing, he's playing himself into being a tradable target now. It's like, bro, you're not producing for the numbers we gave you, right? You're not in contention to be an all-star again. So now you already all them incentives you get when you get these contracts, he's already losing incentives like a mug. Then he gotta save face. He gotta reshape his relationship with us Knicks fans after telling us to shut the F up. You feel me? Even though I feel like it wasn't that big of a deal. But that right there added. Then you have that to come into this Boston game last night, and you had RJ and IQ outplayed. Like what? Oh yeah, let's not forget you had 6 turnovers. Yeah. So, bro,
bad one.
Your contract is looking more and more like, you know what? You might actually get us a piece we might need.
Yeah, that's possible. That's facts. I can't, but I will give him one thing though. Yesterday but this is my point, which is I'm a fan. Don't get me wrong, I'm a fan. I'm not a hater. I'm a fan.
Nah, same here. Like we all fans of him. Yeah. It's just wow.
He come out with great intensity. The shots weren't falling. He was probably taking ugly threes to be honest, but the shots weren't falling. Whatever, and he was showing that intensity like he did the game before, diving on the floor for the ball, stuff like that, getting in the lane, the passing lane, and then it just like I said to you as we opened up with. As soon as the game wasn't going his way, you see the look on his face, man. It's like a little girl that's cracked it. She doesn't get her way, man. She's done.
A baby.
Yeah, she's done.
Act like a baby.
Yeah.
I
It's just
My
sad.
thing with Randall is, man, he just has to. They got to take, like we said earlier, they got to take some work away from him. They got to take some responsibility from him.
Because Randall's not a bad player. You know, if we could get a number one option to complement him, that would be beast.
You know what his problem is too? He's not a leader.
You know, it'd be crazy.
He's
right?
a piece. He's a piece, but he's not a leader. That's why Rose's loss is a big loss. So this is part of the reason why we are where we are.
Me personally, I feel like this. I don't even think we need a number one option on this team. I think the problem is everybody's not accepting their role, and they know that with the come up of being in New York, you can eventually turn yourself to be that number one option guy. Look at the perks that you get. Randall's the prime example of if you can turn New York around just for even a season, look at all the perks you get with it. Now, if you can sustain that level and keep us at a good float, look at everything that comes with it. You don't even have to win a championship to be good in New York to have that. You have that type of marketability, right? So with me, I feel like instead of us making that one initial trade that we did last year, we have to make a number of trades this year because we already have a leader. The leader is D Rose. We're all just going to stamp it. D Rose is not the leader. The problem is we don't have a set leader yet, per se, for this young core. And I feel like that's why Tom and the organization is probably on RJ a little bit more than they are on Randall. You got to think about the age difference. You got to think about the level of it took Randall 7 to 8 years to get to where he's at. It's only taken RJ 3. And RJ still just turned 21. And think about all the pieces, right, of letting go of RJ via letting go of Randall. If you let go of RJ right now, you break everything that the Knicks stand on, period, before we actually got good. You break up on the youth. You break up on all the draft choices they just made. You break up on all the promising young talent to come for years because you want to win now. Obviously, Randall's not showing he's that guy to win now with. So if you let go of RJ, right, you're going to mess that up. Then if you let go of behind RJ, these are right now, I'm just, for everybody that's watching and tuning in, I'm just speaking on the only people that I feel are untouchable. So you have RJ. Right behind RJ, I feel like you have IQ. If you let either RJ or IQ go right now, it's going to be a problem. And when the Knicks fan base makes it a problem, that's when the New York team has to crack down. So it's sad to say everybody else is up for grabs except for those two young guys. That's how I personally feel. Everybody else is legitimately a trade target on this team. I mean, you could, cancel out D Rose, of course. You could probably, I want to say, cancel out Deuce and Grimes if you want to, because you got to keep some
Taj too.
Of course, Taj. But everybody else,
he's a Thibodeau guy, so yeah, Taj's not going nowhere.
Yeah, but out of everybody else, though, I feel like everybody else is gone, and especially with, and a lot of people don't like the fact that it's happened like this, but I've called it. The fact that Noel has not basically played this whole season, it's become to where now Mitch is open for a trade season.
Yeah, I think
because Mitch has definitely been raising his stock value too.
He has his games, man. He's still raw, but I think you're right, man. I can't see. Personally, I think RJ IQ untouchable. I would like to see some more of Obi Toppin before I say untouchable, but I think he's got the base there that if he got those minutes and he gave him that time, he could become untouchable. Look, I think he's going to be, though, and I said it to some friends the other day, I think Obi Toppin's going to be that guy that leaves or gets moved on, and he does really well elsewhere. And we're going to, as Knicks fans, per usual, we're going to sit there kicking ourselves. But he's never going to flourish in the Garden, I don't think. And that's not his fault. I think that's a New York problem and a current coaching problem more than anything. But yeah, I would have to agree. I would like to see us keep Kemba because I still think he's got a lot in the tank. But I just don't think with the way things have gone that relationship's really properly mendable. I think good for him that he came back and had that Eastern Conference Player of the Week. He deserved that more than anything. But yeah, man, but I think you said Grimes. You don't think he's untouchable, or you think he's untouchable? I think actually they might look at moving him possibly because of what he's shown. Man, there's a lot of eyes watching him going, why didn't we pick him?
My thing is this, right? If I had it my way, right, and I'm Leon Rose, I got the perfect scheme. I don't know why, but I feel like we can make it happen. We got 3 trades, right? And within this 3 trades, we could reshape this whole group to be a young core that can still contend. Now watch how we do this, right? Remember way back with past, present, future, y'all, how I said eventually Alex Burks is going to be that journeyman that no matter what trade package you look at, if you don't want to kill your core, you have to give him up. Because
you said that.
It's always that one guy, right? So now we got all these different rumors going on. We got Tyrese Halliburton and De'Aaron Fox in rumors now. We're hearing rumors about Donovan Mitchell. We got rumors about everybody over here at what we got the Pacers with Miles Turner, Karis LeVert, Domantas Sabonis. You still got Ben Simmons, all these guys, right? Now with these 3 initial moves, it would be critical. Now with me, of course, unfortunately, you got to sacrifice people. So Mitch, he's out of here, right? We're going with Mitch out of here. Of course, common sense. We're going to get Miles Turner, right? We're gonna go get Miles. To go get Miles, we're gonna let go of Mitch, and we're gonna probably let go of a first-round pick. Remember, we got 2 of them, so we got 1 to spare. We can give 1 away. So if you give them a first-round pick and Mitch, by all means, they're gonna give you. And then you probably have to throw in like Kevin Knox or something. They're gonna probably automatically throw you Miles Turner, right? Yes, I'm sorry, bro. I know you love Kevin Knox, but he's the dub. He's out of here, okay? So you got Miles. So that gives you the space floor and center you need. And with me, I personally feel like we're still having Taj Gibson and Jericho Sims. We're good. And then of course, if Noel don't get packaged, you still got Noel there. So you're still good in that round. Then this is when it gets tricky, right? I'm going to sit here and I'm going to go get this guard that we need. Because if you're not going to let IQ start and you feel like he should still be the firepower off the bench, and of course, D-Rose is not going to play around forever. So obviously the Deuce and IQ backcourt will be a thing, just not at this very moment, but it will eventually be a thing, right? So that's locked and set. Your backcourt of your second unit is already locked, set in stone with their mentor. Boom, we could cancel that out. So you want to get rid of Evan. Obi Toppin's not getting any kind of burn now out of nowhere. Ever since Tom made those comments, everybody wants the backup to start until the backup starts. Ever since he said that, you can't tell me not one time you remember Obi going on the floor no more. You can't remember a moment now because when he went on the floor, you knew he went on the floor. So you would go get either De'Aaron Fox or Tyrese Halliburton with that trade. You would trade Evan, you would trade Obi, you would even slide Kimba in that mix if you needed to, with 2 second-round picks to go get that guy. Then the last trade is, okay, how do we fix all this, right? You still want young core, you still want young guys, but you still want Quentin Grimes to also play because he's a good asset. So this is where we get into Alex Burks now has to go. This is where you give up a promising young talent for a guy that they can definitely use. You trade Alex Burks straight up, and then this is when they give us Cam Reddish and either a second-round pick or 2 second-round picks in return. So now you just paired RJ with one of his Duke guys because we know in the long run, Zion is still leaving. So now you get all 3 to help out RJ, and you still kept Randall in the mix because you have faith in the guy. Now look at all your options when you look at all of that. That's a young core that can still legitimately contend because you got the Kentucky connection with the Duke connection that all meshes well under the umbrella of Tom if you look at all their styles of play.
That's Tom uses everybody properly.
That's the Tom. And on top of that, it helps what? Shrink the depth. Because automatically, you look at all the players we just got, that's an automatic 10-man rotation Tom can finally work with.
Yeah, well, we know he doesn't like playing with depth, does he?
So it's like,
that's what I'm saying.
That's the only way, personally, I feel like if we do those lineup of trades, we can make all of that happen. We're good. We're great. Because then the lineups will go like this, right? It'll be Fox or Tyrese at the 1. Then it'll be, obviously, I think Cam Reddish will go to the 2, right? RJ at the 3, Randall at the 4, Miles at the 5. Then your bench, of course, D Rose is still going to be playing, but then eventually that's when Deuce will come in. So you got the D Rose and Deuce thing. Then from there, your 3 would be Grimes. Your 4, of course, we got rid of all of these power forwards. I'm personally going to bring up the Luka kid from the G League to be backed up to Randall. Boom. That right there still gives you that same type of spacing that you will want from a stretch 4 that you want. And then, of course, you have your whole tandem of centers with Taj, Jericho Sims, and still no Weldon. Perfect. That's perfect, bro. That is the perfect lineup. Everything you need right there.
That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot.
And then look, the best part is you made all these trades. Eventually, if Randall don't play up to par, you know who we going to go use to go get Zion. You see how you still kept that? You still kept that bargain?
Yeah.
You still kept that bargain. So that's still your way to get Zion, to connect the other 2 pieces.
Do you really want Zion?
I don't. But if you really want to keep RJ and have a thought of at least, because you got to think about it. When you keep all these old players, such as Randall and like a Miles Turner, those type of guys, you think about those tandem of players like Brandon Ingram, Tatum. But when you think about RJ, you got to think about all the new guys that come in. You got to remember that the NBA is growing at a rapid pace, and all these old players we love watching are eventually not going to be here. So you got to think years in advance. If we're going to think years in advance, that's the route to go. You need to get RJ, his guys over there, instead of worrying about who you're going to get over there to help Brandon.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if you got Reddish, you may as well make the whole tandem. Yeah, you may as well bring back the trio.
That's all you
Reddish
need
for the need too. We need 3s. Reddish for the need.
And
honestly,
honestly,
he wouldn't cost that much.
Man, I tip him to be the biggest riser for Atlanta this year, and I think he's starting to work that way in.
Definitely. And then just like the reports say with Cam Reddish, they really sit here saying they would rather trade him than extend him. What?
Wow.
And you got to think about it like this. If you're going to trade Mitchell Robinson, and then the 2 people that were supposed to get their extensions was RJ and Mitch, you might as well trade Mitch to get your center that you don't got to extend, that already got a contract extension before.
Makes sense.
Right? Then you could sit there and you think about, okay, if I do this route, of course, it would make sense to go get Tyrese, because you would have another 2 years before you have to extend him. Then all you got to worry about doing next year is just extending RJ and Cam. You get to extend 2 wings for the future.
Yeah,
that sounds a lot better than worrying about. And then you got to remember, Cam can actually play defense, so that gives you the upgrade over Evan, and it gives you the upgrade over Alex Burks just because of age.
Yeah.
So it's like that makes so much more sense that if you're not going to give Mitch an extension with RJ, you go get another young, promising guy to help pair with that. And you would the main thing that we really need is not point guards, bro. We have a bad plethora of wings. Our wing play sucks. That's why we're getting killed. You can't, once you have RJ that goes out, we have no wings. Because Grimes is too young and he's not going to get the minutes, so he's still going to make rookie mistakes. Alex Burks, he's getting shifted between playing 3 different positions, and Evan is only going to give you scoring.
Yeah, that's right.
So the main problem is not the point guards, it's our wing play. So I feel like that's where we need to take that gamble and you really be like, you know what, let's go get Cam Reddish. You got to.
Cam's a good defender too.
Yeah, I mean, when his 3's falling too, it's nice. I mean, we saw that at the back end of what they did to us in the playoffs last year. So, and I mean, it's sort of carried through to this year. It's another player though that needs more minutes. But I think what we've seen, obviously, there's a reason you're saying what you're saying is because we see what he can do. He's got the length, man. He can be a great perimeter defender. He can probably defend right through to 10 feet out.
Definitely. And the way I look at it, I look at Cam like, bro, he really can turn into like Paul George 2.0. Like, bro, I've seen it since college days, bro. He legitimately can be that player. Now, you guys talk so much, well, not you guys, but just people in general talk so much about the tandem of Kawhi and Paul George. Bro, that could be them right there. Instead of going to get those players, we could brew them right here. Now, imagine that. You got Cam as your starting two, and you got Grimes as your backup two.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I'm saying? No matter what, you're good. Nice. Or if anything, you still got Cam as your two, and you got IQ backing him up. Then you got Grimes backing up RJ. No matter how you look at that, perfect. And then even if you want to, with Cam coming, you know how everybody say, yo, I want RJ to go back to the two. That'll give you that option to give RJ to go back to the two with no problems. Yeah. No problems. Like what? It gives you every option you ever wanted as a Knicks fan, just with those three moves. Go get one of the guards from the Sacramento Kings. Go get Miles Turner. Go get Cam Reddish. That's all we need to do. And you got to think about it. We are going to do a trade. We didn't sit here and get into the Denzel Valentine trade to get cash and more draft rights to not do nothing with it by the deadline. Something's going down.
And the good thing about all those guys you just named is they're all simple trades. They're nothing crazy, you know. So like we're not breaking any banks for any of these guys.
Definitely. And with Sacramento Kings, the best person to give up for them is Evan. Like if you have to like really give the main person for each trade, Mitch for Miles, cool. Evan for somebody on Sacramento. And then also, like I stated, just letting go of a journeyman to get somebody that's going to be promising for the future. And that's just getting you a legitimate three. Like we don't have a legitimate three. We're trying to get RJ to become a legitimate three. If we could get RJ to go back to the two and then we just go trade for a legitimate three, we're good. We're great. That would be the same thing of cutting out having to go get a Brandon Ingram. You know what I'm saying? Or a Jaylen Brown. Like just by those three moves alone, you cut out so much of what could be versus players that can become just because they all work the way they work. Now, imagine you putting all of these guys together that I just said, they're all gym rats. You have a team now full of gym rats that are young. Tom, that means you can play them for as long as you want. You can burn their legs. You can do whatever you choose to do. Okay? But all these old people you got, it's not working. You see Evan went off for 41 points. My man leg hurt. He couldn't take it. It was
like contusion. Like what, bro?
Yeah. But look, man, I got a Bulls friend though. They've been sitting here disagreeing right now, man. He can't stand Tibbs. He's been telling me, he's been saying it's not going to work, man. He's going to run all your plays into the ground. And you know what? He's kind of been right to this point. Like you're saying with the older dudes, he's like that. Like he said it weeks and weeks ago. He's like, it doesn't look good, man. Like he knows that pain. Yeah, he watched what he did to D Rose and that, and he's like, man, I've seen this before. They're tired already. This is 20 games in. He's telling me they're tired already. I'm like, I don't see it. Like I remember how he ran your guys into the ground, but I don't see it. He's like, trust me, you're going to see it. You're going to see it. And I think we're starting to see that, man. I mean, there's an issue with Tibbs too. I think if we make all those moves like you talked about, or we make a good big shakeup and it doesn't work, then we know it's a coaching problem. Definitely.
And yeah, not for nothing, Randall's been looking exhausted, and even the announcer said it. Like, Randall looks completely gassed out. The way he moves, like sometimes you see him like with his hands down. Like I'll be like, "Yo, bro, you good?" Like,
yeah, no,
I mean, we know what Tibbs is like. Notoriously, he is an old head who's just like no days off, and he's very controlling. I mean, look, let's be honest. Like, let's just for a minute touch on what the Bulls are doing. Yeah, right. Look at Billy Donovan, and they spoke about it. I was caught the Bulls game the other day, and they spoke about it. He's a player's coach. He lets the guys play into their strengths, and this is the issue though. You have to do this in the modern game, man. You don't have your Michael Jordans, you don't have your Patrick Ewings no more that can play with your structure but still, they've got their star power. No, you can't drive guys like hammer guys and they're gonna, excel from that. You gotta understand that the game's different. I think it's a little bit beyond Tibbs in terms of offense. To be honest, he, like I said, I wanted to touch on, he relies far too heavily on guys. That's why he keeps going to Randall. And we finally heard him say yesterday, after yesterday's game, oh, I think we went to Randall a little bit too much. Then why didn't you stop it? You are the coach. Turn around and say, stop giving him the ball. Don't bring it up the court, man. We got IQ on fire. We've got IQ on fire. And then
Tibbs is stuck in his own ways.
Yeah.
Time.
I think Tibbs is learning just as much as the players are, to be honest.
He has to learn how to,
because he has a young core. Like this is different. This is completely out of his comfort zone. That's why I was kind of surprised when we first signed him. Cause I'm like, this is a very we know Tibbs' history. Like we knew this was gonna this was inevitable at this point, because we knew his background already. He likes to, he found D Rose and Randall. he you know what I'm saying? Like, he latched onto him. That's his guy. So like
the case, man. And I personally just feel like, just to sum it all up, it might just be the fact that he knows that Leon Rose is probably already calling for packages for Randall. And he's trying to save face to at least prove to Randall, like, bro, look, I believe in you still. This team still believe in you. But, yo, if you don't start producing, man, you're going to be up out of here, bro. I think that's what it is, bro. That's what it is. Cause there's no way. There's no way how Randall hasn't met the storm. There's no way you're telling me out of nowhere now Obi all of a sudden is not getting any type of quality minutes, bro. He's not even cracking 10 minutes anymore, bro.
He's showing them off.
I think he's showing off Randall to the point
That's what I'm saying. Like, wow, okay.
Yeah, bro.
I didn't think about that. That could be the case.
If Randall's not out of here, I can guarantee you Obi's out of here. One of them two is going. Now they trying to figure out which one.
I want to keep Obi for a little bit.
Well,
just for like a little longer.
All I'm saying about that is this. It's very rare that any organization, no matter who it is, picks a vet over potential, especially a vet that's kind of shaky.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah.
It's very rare that any organization makes that decision. So it's gonna be interesting to see where this goes.
I was just about to say that, like, we might as well go ahead and start giving our final thoughts. It looked like we got a good, like 4 minutes left for this good old thing. So keep going. Like, keep going with the final thoughts. Like, how we really feeling about this situation?
Real quick, as far as Tibbs running the players into the ground, yeah, I see that. But he needs to do that to the young players. Give them run.
That's right.
I don't see why not.
Yeah, they want to do it, man. They want to do it. You see quickly talking about, I'm always in the gym. We're always in the gym. It's hard to get him out. There's echoes of it, and you see him. He's posting stuff on his Instagram, whatever. He's working out all the time, sweaty shirts, this, that. Yeah, go get it. But that's the problem. He's driving the guys that are like, man, I got tired legs. I've been in this game for a while now. He's driving those guys into the ground, and these young kids are sitting on the bench like, shaky knees because they're ready to jump in. They're ready to go, man.
Agreed.
Agreed. That's a fact.
That's why I said, man, if you want to run kids into the ground, you got options. And like I said, you can go. I meant to say this too, just for my final thought. You're only going to get Miles Turner if you, quote unquote, know that you're keeping Randall. If you're not keeping Randall, you don't get a Miles Turner, because that's just pointless. You keep Mitch. What you do is you now sit there and be like, you know what? Ben Simmons don't sound too bad right now. Okay? That's the route you go. All right? You get Ben Simmons over here instead. You keep Mitch, and you still do the other two plays that I said. You still go get a Tyrese, and you still go sit there and you pick up a Cam Reddish. But instead of sitting there and keeping, like I said, you keep Randall and you go get Miles. If you know you're not keeping Randall, there's no point to go get Miles. You go get Ben Simmons. Because no matter what, going to get Dame does not make sense. For us at all, going to get Dame Dollar does not make sense. So the next
I agree as well.
Yep. So the next big ticket is Ben Simmons. That's it.
Portland ain't trading Dame though. He don't want to go, and why would you trade him? That team is so far from where they need to be, and you're not going to go and get rid of the one guy that is going to take you there. If you're not going to get back what
if you figure it out. Yeah.
Unless they go total rebuild, but that's not happening.
That can't happen. There's no way. There's no way.
Yeah, I think Portland's still good. They're not great, but they're still good.
I sort of on the Ben Simmons thing, man. When we as Australians, we're a little bit disappointed in him right now. We are. I won't
Well,
lie.
that's right. I forgot Ben.
I definitely forgot about that.
I forgot
Yeah,
Ben Simmons
sorry,
was
man.
Australian. Wow.
I've seen people go from wearing Ben Simmons jerseys to you can't get rid of those things for $20, right?
Wow.
They're stocked up in our basketball jersey stores and that over here. Yeah, no one wants to touch them. Everyone is sort of distancing themselves from Ben Simmons. 1 minute we're claiming him that hard, and then the next minute the rest of the country don't want nothing to do with him. So it's been a big dip. But you know what? As much as I didn't want him, I think he actually suits the type of player. That's a Tibbs player, man. He don't need to shoot the ball. Tibbs is going to scream at him.
Same thing I said. I kid you not.
I'm telling you, the way that Tom wants Randall to play, that's Ben Simmons, bro.
Yes.
And then the way RJ's producing now, bro, you don't need a guy like Randall in that situation. Because why? Today's NBA is not ran by big men anymore. It's ran by wings and guards. So if you don't got the right wing or guard on your team, we're not gonna get anywhere. So you just sorry, Randall. You just
we got the French fry.
And that's pretty much it, man. That's all I could say with everything with that. We got the last minute, so it is what it is, man. It is what it is.
But we're still in good shape though. At the end of the day, man, we're in bad shape, but it's like we said, we got movable contracts. We're not in the dirt. We're not in a ditch. We're chilling.
We're not that far off from the postseason, so it's not all gloom and doom.
No. Just stop the volume.
It's just hard to watch. I respect it. It's really hard to watch. After last, it's disgusting.